Hi everyone, it's Jeff James from Mythology, and I'm really excited to talk about this next pillar called engagement, because we've done so much hard work understanding our audience and talking about our story, our sticky story, our mythology around our brand, and really trying to figure out how we engage people with that emotional story. Now we're going to talk about how to package that up and start setting goals around how would you infuse that message out into the marketplace. In other words, how would you actually engage the customers with the message? And this has really gotten a lot more complicated these days. This is where a lot of people struggle. And one of the problems is a lot of times a marketing executive or a team will jump into the engagement plan before they've done all the discipline work that we've just done in our workshop series. So they don't know exactly what emotions they're going for. They don't know what the sticky story is. And so therefore it's really hard to think about, for example, gosh, should we do a Facebook site? Should we get into social media? And they go ahead and do it, but they didn't really have a plan for how they're going to, in a very emotional and consistent way, build the brand using Facebook or using some other tactic. So in the next couple of tools and exercises, we're just going to provide some ways of thinking about building your engagement plan. If you remember from one of the first videos, we showed you this funnel concept, and there's also this sort of inverted funnel. And the first place to start with your engagement plan is going right back to that funnel. Because what you're going to try to do is think about how would we engage customers around different goals to pull them down the development funnel and then turn them into loyal customers or advocates. And the truth is when you think about building awareness or building interest or getting someone to be active and actually engaging with you, maybe on your website, converting them into actual customers, and then sort of building them into these loyal advocates, there are two things you've got to do. One is you've got to set a goal. And this is a very, very good exercise for any marketer to do. Go through your prior marketing, look at the type of things you've done. It might be a direct mail piece, it might be an event, it might be an ad, it might be some sort of PR effort that you've done, and see if you can define very clearly what your goal was for that effort. Was it primarily trying to generate awareness and interest? Or was it primarily trying to convert people who were already aware? Or was it focusing on your existing loyal customers? So think about what goal you're trying to achieve, and obviously these need to be very measurable. How many people do you, in the next 6 months, want to become aware of your product? Or how many do you want to become engaged with or active with? In other words, visit your website, or call your call center, or come to an event. Those are very different goals from awareness goals. So you've got to set those measurable goals, and then you can build your plan around achieving them. What that leads you to do is to start thinking about the tactics that would be best optimized for achieving these different goals. For example, typically a print ad is not a very effective call to action, sort of demand, sort of response-driven marketing tactic. It can be very good for awareness, and sometimes you can get some response off of it, but it's not the most optimized way to get someone to pick up the phone and call. So as you think about that tactic, maybe putting a magazine ad out there, or in some cases a billboard, you've got to determine, is this mostly around awareness, or is there some other tactic around response that I would like to use? So those tactics, we're going to put a tool beside this video, and you can see a list of all the different tactics that you can use to sort of surround a customer with. For example, PR, working through earned media, is a great tactic for increasing awareness, and if you do it the right way, it can be very low cost. You can run events. You can, of course, do some traditional advertising. So there's so many different things that you can actually do today. You can optimize your website for search engine, or you can do paid search, where you buy a keyword, and so if people are looking to buy or looking to evaluate a certain product, your your company can be right beside what they're searching for, or you can optimize your search website so that you can show up higher in the rankings. That's obviously one of the more powerful direct response type of tactics. But also today, of course, you've got all these different social media elements as well. So when you start thinking of that, it can be very confusing. It can be a little bit overwhelming. But when you bring it back to this, figuring out what goal you really do need to achieve over the next 6 months, then some of these tactics can start defining themselves a little bit better. And you can start thinking about how they work together. So again, take a look at the list of the different media types, the different marketing channels, and what they're usually best at here beside the video. Take a look at that and then think about it for your company. And we'll see you in the next session.